loyalty to house music, loyalty to the movement, loyalty to the assignment from the Most High of singing house, of traveling globally. Sometimes I've been on the backside praying for people that come up to me, holding them, embracing them, and giving. House music is, again, a ministry for me.
So today is January 3rd, 2025. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, everybody. This is Barbara Tucker.
What would you like your legacy to be?
That she was able to mentor other artists as one who has demonstrated her being here 40 years and going, of how to sustain what the creator gave us, that we're supposed to be able to bless, touch, and move people in this realm, in this earth. So as I'm turning around and saying, Tag, you're it. You have to continue. We must continue because we all have the gifts and talents. We give of obviously the Most High all the acknowledgement for the seeding within us, but then we're here to bless each other with this.
Where were you born and where did you grow up?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I grew up in Fort Greene section of Brooklyn. I was interesting. I was born in Long Island College Hospital, that's off of Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. I lived a beautiful life, I think. All children usually think they live a beautiful life because all they do is play, sing, and dance. But Brooklyn, Fort Greene area, and loving it.
Gotcha. Now, many in Brooklyn have Caribbean heritage and ancestry. Do you as well or no?
Actually, I do, and I didn't know that they did. Oh, yes, of course they did, especially when you go down to Flatbush Avenue in North Strand. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, my family, my grandfather's side, my mom's side is from Barbados.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. We learned something new today. Um, what kind of music did you hear around the house growing up?
Not much. I want to say not much. And it's funny because my mother was a singer, and I grew up with my stepfather, and he was into music more than my mother, I want to say. Um, Me, him, and my sister used to watch Soul Train every Saturday. He even brought us a keyboard. He played it more than I or she. So we loved things like Soul Train. We had a record player, but I believe there was a lot of what he played, like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, around the house. And he was from Jamaica. But we were raised in the church, and we sang with the choirs or the ensembles or what have you. So music was more so on the outside of the house when we would go to the church and stuff. But coming home, it wasn't a lot of 24-hour music. But my uncle did live downstairs in the apartment complex that we lived at, 64 South Oxford Street, and the music used to come out of their house, my mom's brother, and we used to sit on the stoop, I mean, excuse me, the hallway step, and just listen to all the great music from there.
Wow. Wow. I want to pick up on something you said about being raised in the church and religion. How do you balance your religious life with your musical life? Because sometimes those in the church don't really like those of us in entertainment.
Balance. I don't balance, I just am. I don't
Say
believe in
more.
religion. I always tell people, when I found God, I lost religion. The Most High, who breathes through animal kingdom, plant kingdom, human kingdom. Man created religion. God wants us to love and serve, and just be kind, be nice, be gentle with people, be good, be faithful, be love. But I don't hate that I was raised in the church because I received discipline. Sometimes people who don't go to church don't stay on their knees long enough to pray. Sometimes they don't they might not be conscious of their brother, and if it quote, if it offends your brother, then don't do it, or something like that. So I'm conscious of my brethren, of my heart, of their heart, and these are some of the things that you learn through the scriptures.
I love that. I love that. Um, do you remember the first club you went to?
Yes, Club Serene
Tell
on
us about it.
Broadway.
Where was it? When was it? How old were you? Who was the DJ?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know if I can remember. I just remember Casey, the Prince of Soul, as the host. I see the DJ, but his name slips me. It was Club Serene. It was in Brooklyn. It was off Flatbush Extension, right downtown. It today is a pawn shop. They also had a roller skating rink downstairs. Sometimes they roller skated also in the club downstairs. Um, I went there with some of my friends because ladies' night would be free on a Friday, and I want to say this in could be in the early '80s. Could have been around like 79, 80, something like that. Yeah.
And then talk to us from the transition from going out occasionally to being part of the nightclub fabric in New York City.
I was in a dance group years forwarding. I was in a dance troupe called Internal Combustion, and our rehearsal space was also Club Ozone Layer. And after our rehearsal, we would want to stay after. The late Calvin Martin Mathis and Earl Galloway were the creative directors, and the choreographer as well. But we wanted to stay and party because the music was awesome. David Morales was not just the resident DJ on that Friday night, but it was his party. He was also the promoter for the Friday night party. And so, henceforth, after rehearsals on Friday, every Friday night, if I had the time, I was at the Ozone Layer. The music was very powerful. You had a lot of it was like a miniature paradise garage in Brooklyn. That was the feeling of what was going on there. I was also discovered partying there once, dancing, and then I met this guy, Lloyd Williams, who was doing the promotional strafe. Set it off, I suggest. Um, so he was doing the promotional performances for the record label. Um, what's it? Just Born Records. God rest the soul of those who have passed, the two owners. And what happens is from there, recorded was with him in '84. '85 is when they brought the girls from behind of that project, and we recorded the female version, Reliquien, for Set It Off. That was the beginning of my professional, even though I was singing in other situations, doing session work or what have you, my professional as a recording artist myself.
Wow. Wow. It's also amazing that you were at the ozone layer rehearsing as a rehearsal space. I mean, what a story. Um, Tell us about the first time you went to the Paradise Garage.
The first time I went to the Paradise Garage, I was performing with Tanya.
What?
Yes, I performed with two artists. One was Lee Majors. Who's Lee Rogers? Lee Rogers or Lee Major, who did Celebrate and the Magic the Moment. We did that, and then the second time was the July 4th and 5th, which was the last July 4th and 5th at the Paradise Garage for Tanya Wynn, and the song was called "It's Too Late."
What was your impression of the garage? It's given that you'd heard about it for so long.
My brother used to go there. When I was going to church on Sunday, my mom and I would be coming, we would be going to church. He would be coming home from the party. He,
Wow.
my brother, he was Frank Tucker, very interesting. I would see him cowboy boots, some shorts on, some cut off jean shorts, a tuxedo jacket, no shirt, and a bow tie, and a big old afro. That's how my brother dressed. I would be like, look at him, Ma. Look at him, Ma.
This is great.
But
This
he
is
could dance. My brother always could dance. He hustled. He was Capricorn, so he's very free with his movement. He would be at the Paradise Garage all the time doing his thing.
wow. Let's talk about music. Um, you have a gift. What is your musical training?
Isn't this something? I thought, let's take it back. I thought that every black household, everybody sang. Everybody on a rainy day, you get your sisters, brothers, and in my case, cousins from downstairs, and we all thought we was the Silvers or the Jackson Five, right? Even though I was little, little, little. So this is something that I had no training in, but I believe it was a part of the DNA coming from mom and dad as well, because my dad right now is a soul survivor member of the Persuasions. So he's a singer. My mom grew up singing with her two sisters. They were called the Liquid Sisters, and they used to sing all of those type of songs. So my sister, my cousin, and I, we sang in church, right, as a group, the Christian Cousins, we were called. So it's not like I went to a school and learning E from F on a keyboard and what have you. We chose songs and we sang the songs, and mom helped us with the harmonies growing up and brought us our outfits, and next thing we were singing at different church programs, but no formal training as a singer, just having a natural ear.
Wow. Wow. Um, tell us about your first recording.
The first recording for me, um, as a part of the group and not me doing a session, doing background, because you grow up and you could be doing a session for people. It might be in their garage, it might be in their house in the corner, there's a mic, and you're doing background work and what have you. But the first recording that was with Hully Queen for December 85, I'll never forget. We were up in the studio and singing Set It Off, and an amazing experience just singing this song, re-recording it. We had fun with it. I was just having fun. It's funny because I'm singing and I'm doing these things, but still not looking at myself as when I grow up, I want to be a singer. I'm just a part of a group. I'm singing. Oh, such and such, come with me. They're looking for two girls to do background here. They're looking for somebody, and just going with it. Because when you're in your 20s, well, me in my 20s, I was just being a part of movement of music and creative, different genres, whether I'm doing background dancing or something, or singing, or even musical theater, because I did 9 off-Broadway plays. I did a lot at the Billie Holiday Theater in Brooklyn. So it was just something that I was naturally comfortable with, singing, dancing, or acting.
What is your intention when you sing?
To let the Holy Spirit move through me, that someone will be blessed by the songs that I sing. Someone will connect with love when I sing. Someone will be happy and joyous when they hear it, when they sing with me. I'd rather you singing with me than you just staring at me. I'd rather for you to let the lyrics embody you and be stronger for yourself and each other.
I love that. What is house?
I always say what Kevin Hedge said, it's a spiritual thing. I tell people when I've been interviewed, the thing about house and house singers, I want to say about 85% of house singers come out the church or are still in the church. So they sing with this nakedness before the mic, and that's giving their all when they sing. Not rigid and not in the box and not I just learned the song and I'm reading, but when they're putting out that wail, that big sound, they're just naked and yelling to the Most High, not like screaming at the, but just invoking praise through the song to the atmosphere, and God creates the atmosphere.
That's deep. It's almost like in a way channeling
Yes,
versus, yeah.
yes, 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 yes. Some people channel in one way, and my invoking channeling is that we're all acknowledging the greater I am, and spiritually uh, telepathy wise, talking to the Most High, saying, what can I do? Sometimes, who am I? Sometimes I just feel such a presence of love. How can I love you greater? And then you have some others who channel the opposite of that.
That's facts. We won't name names though.
Yeah.
Um, let's pivot and talk about uh dancing. You talked about rehearsing and practicing at the ozone layer. Um, talk to us about that transition from dancing to singing.
I was always singing and dancing together.
Ah, they were not separate. Understood. Understood.
Yes. Yeah, because I would remember I was doing musical theater also.
So yes, yes,
And so
yes.
what happens is, um, I love the feeling of that. Again, sometimes people, I've always danced. My family was always that one. We're at Coney Island when we're younger, dancing in front of the Himalaya. You're going to high school or junior high school, and you're a part of the various talent shows or whatever. So that's always been a part of me, because, again, I felt comfortable to do that. There's the freedom when I'm looking back of it. And then what happens is, as you're moving on with your dancing, someone again meets you. This is Mr. Williams, and he hired me to do promotional strafe with him as a dancer with the other two girls. Look, dancing, but he didn't know I could sing. So then we could sing the song live. And then from there, we go on with the Harlequin 4 recording of Set It Off. And from there, it's just been going. But I've always sung and had choreographed movement with me, even to the point that when I went on to do recordings with for myself, whether it be Open Your Heart to Love with Tommy Musto and Peter Dow, or just different productions, I've always had dancers like Brian Green and um, let me see, Sean, or who else was my dancer? Keith Lewis, and there's one more that I want, Chris Sawyer. So I've always had dancers with me and choreographed or co-choreographed. Matter of fact, I choreographed the one and only Club Music Awards show under Tony Toon at Studio 54, the late Studio 54.
Tell us about working with CNC Music Factory.
Ah, okay. So I was with the part with Deborah Cooper, who did Pride, A Dupe of Love. I got hired for on that gig, and that was fun. And then from first of all, it's fun working with Robert Clavillis and David Cole. God rest his soul. I was so honored and happy. And I'll recall one show we did, I forgot what club that was, but we were performing, I think it could have been the release or something for Pride. And I remember being so in awe of Deborah Cooper's voice. I don't know how I could keep up with the choreographed movement, but that was fun to work with them. Nothing like working with an artist who sings their behind off and you're behind them dancing, you know. So that was a wonderful opportunity.
Tell us about working with D-Light.
Ah, groove is in the heart. I remember, interesting, I was home, and one of my close friends, Janelle Saunders, AKA In the Mix, In the Body, what is it? In the Body, something like that. She was on the road with Delight, and she called me. She said, Barbara, they need you to come down here because the person that was dancing with them, He doesn't know that he's going to be released after this show. So we need for you, we're sending a ticket for you so that you can come out and meet us in Quebec. That's where I had to pack up and go. I was on that show was about an hour and a half long. I was on the bus from bus to hotel learning the choreographed moves and sing and the songs at the same time. I could recall on the bus, and the bus is shifting, and we're whether we're singing with the harmonies or we're dancing the steps, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I love that. That's what I love working with artists that you're able to do background singing and dancing because that's at a whole nother level. If you could do that both.
Tell us about working with George Clinton.
Oh my goodness. He sometimes they were on the same gig, and so that was fun. I remember once he invited me and Janelle to come up and sing, and what is his show? His show could be almost 6 hours if you've been. And so we got on the stage and they're doing all of that, please. After an hour, we moonwalk off the stage. We was like, oh, this is a lot going on. But that's okay. That was fun anyway, because singers were coming and going on his stage that he knew. Um, we did a recording for Herbie Hancock, and I'll never forget. We were in the studio, me, Jana, Lady Miss Care, she was there. He and some of the Funkadelics were there. And I remember, like, I was talking like this, like something was in my throat, but they were smoking in the studio. And he said, is the smoke bothering you? And I said, well, and he said, we'll put it out because this is your session too. I thought that was so cool of him. Um, and I'm like, I was 5'3". I might be 5'3.5" now, but I was 5'3", and I never forget that he gave me this line to sing. Cause she refused to be a cotton picker. And he started calling me Little Miss Funk. He said, you're so little to have so much funk in you. I didn't know. I'm just there doing what I do and having fun with it. So it was really cool to meet him because I can recall growing up and my aunt having a rent party in her building in Coney Island years ago, and we were playing a lot of Parliament Funkadelic songs in that apartment. So I was a fan of their sound.
Thank you for sharing that story. You have tons of number one hits, but one of my personal favorites is Stay Together.
Wow.
That the way that song starts off,
Yeah.
with the keys, just like when that came out, that was and still is everything for me. Tell us about how that song came together.
After we did Beautiful People and I Get Lifted, produced by Louis Vega with all those amazing background singers, he was working with Bert Reeves. Bert Reeves, he one of the artists and writers for what's it? Search to find the doom to doom doom to doom. Gotta keep on.
Yes,
He
yes.
he was a writer of that group. I forgot the group right now, but his name is Bert Reeves, and he brought him in to write that song. It's always interesting the difference between how a man he interprets a love song and a woman interprets a love song. But that was a beautiful song. It moved more with the black community though. They were connecting with it, the R&B of it, the sexiness of it, I gather. Whereas other cultures, I think they like something a bit more. And even though that went number one, that they want something more dancey, the cultures, or sometimes the cultures separate at a certain point with their likes of what moves them on the dance floor.
So continuing the trend of having a hit in every decade, another number one hit, which is also one of my personal favorites, is Stop Playing With My Mind. Tell us about how that song came together.
Oh, that was the fun song. This is Freddie Turner and Jason Hernandez did the production of this song. And so the song was meant for me and Gladys. First of all, she's so cool. Gladys was the A&R on that project from Strictly Rhythm. And she wanted me and Dwayne Harding to do a, a duet together. The song is about two people who get together, but one is not sure that he wants to be with a woman. So it was about a woman and a gay man, and they're vibing on each other, but he's not sure what he wants to do. Henceforth, my line, you should have known the coffee before you took the cream. So just having fun. We were having so much fun. We were being shady, and laughing. I just remember us in the studio laughing at the writing this down, the fun song. We eventually brought in, we were looking at Michael Proctor, maybe Colonel Michael Wofford, and Jay Williams, but the label I was not in the voting group, and so they brought in Daryl Debineau, who did a wonderful job in recording that.
All right.
And we did Top of the Pops with that song. Wasn't that something?
Guys, tell us what was it like to perform Top of the Pops?
Oh my goodness. Just so honored. That was the second time that I performed one of my songs British TV. I'm just doing that. Me, my manager, Dr. Glenn Toby, we went down. And it's interesting because they was like, come on, they booked me. And I said, well, wait, what about, the male singer? There's a male singer on that. And then we brought Daryl in. But it was interesting to me how they didn't, there they were just looking at one voice in there, but I'm saying, are you not hearing there's a second voice in there? Granted, we were not a group, and they probably looked at the Barbara Tucker featuring, but I told him, look, we need to bring him down here and let's do it. Let us have some fun. And the synergy on that stage was so awesome. We had a band with that. Oh, we had a ball. I had so much energy with that, but I was happy to be a part of Top of the Pops for the second out of 3 times.
That's amazing. How do you think growing up in Brooklyn influenced your musical style?
I want to say I was always my own person. While everybody's on the floor doing the electric slide, I was on the other side with my friend Lloyd, and we were creating and doing our own thing. So I don't know how much I would say Brooklyn influenced me. I was busy at home looking at all the dance videos, or growing up watching Soul Train and any dance show like anybody else, but being a part of dance troupes, whether it be again internal combustion, whether it be a part of the Billie Holiday Theater, whether it be working with the Keith Square Dancer, with the late Keith Williams and Keith Lewis choreographing, which took us to another plateau in my musical dance career. I like to say I like Josephine Baker, Dance Theater of Harlem. So those were influences, not necessarily me going to a club and I'm following the trend of what's going on, because I always wanted to do my own thing. I'm a Pisces. We like do 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 do. Sometimes we're out there. We're doing something else.
So throughout your career, you've been known as the Queen of House. How do you feel about this title?
I think it's interesting. I'm here again 40 years. I think if you're going to be the queen or the king of anything, it's not about how many hits you have. It's not about maybe you're on a label and they can do the marketing better than someone on an independent that can't. But if you are a queen, what is a definition of a queen? What do they do for the community? Are they teaching somebody? Are they mentoring? Are they coaching somebody? Are they standing up for the rights? Are they taking the platform that someone gave them or called them to be on and making a difference for humanity? So you can't call yourself that. Even Christ said, who does men say that I am? Not, I'm going to be this and you call me this, because I want to be. I just want to show up right for the people. I want to show up right representing the sound of house. I'm here consistently, not taking breaks and saying I'm retiring and stuff. I'm here. I was a club promoter with Don Wells, the Underground Network. I was choreographing, I was staging, I was doing road managing for house artists. I think whatever title that they can recognize me as my contributions to this community, I'm okay with that. Anybody who's given a title, king or queen, whatever, don't just take a name to make yourself feel good. Get in the trenches of that culture that you're called that leader in that situation. House has to step up. It can't be you just DJing and producing for 40, 50 years and you don't even who have you helped in the community? Are you giving some time to show young people how to DJ, how to produce, how to remix? Are you giving them some good coaching? Or you're a singer in house music? What are you sharing? You can't keep it to yourself. You can't die with it. You can't take it with you. So let's try to duplicate ourselves. Share it.
I love that. Um, let's pivot to the music industry. Um, what challenges, if any, did you face in the male-dominated music industry, and how did you overcome them?
I don't look at that. I don't claim it. I don't see it. I show up to do what I'm doing. I love what they're doing. Keep it up, guys. Keep rocking and rolling. But I'm not going to make that statement that people or females have made. I show up with what God has given me, and there's a space for me.
Let's talk about B Crew. What inspired you to start the B Crew project?
I was on Strictly Rhythms, and Gladys was like, yeah, let's get the girls together. First, it started off as Barbara Tucker. And she said, yeah, the B crew, the B, meaning Barbara's crew. And we asked Monet. She was working with Soul. What's Brian Tapper's label now?
Sulfuric?
Sulfuric Records, and Daje. And then Ultra just got signed to Strictly, and then we asked her to become a part. So after that song that we did, Party Feeling, which that was so much fun creating, and Eric Murillo, God rest his soul, he was the producer on that project. That was just so much fun. And then years later, that was a one-off project, but I said, I want to revamp this. I want to do B Crew. And this time I've asked Charlotte Small to be a part of it, Dawn Tolman, and it was us three. But then we were speaking to Sabrina Pope, and then we brought her in, and that was the group. It would have still been the group, but Sabrina Pope, she made her transition as well through the years. So then now I said, with my own label, the B-Star Music Group, I want to revamp this. Even though we're artists in our own individual right, I wanted someone to create musics that or I am consciousness, or that touch, move, and inspire people. I wanted those songs to be more spiritual. We weren't looking to become rich off of these songs. We just wanted to create as a sisterhood together.
Thank you for that. Let's pivot to talk about Blaze. What's the story behind your collaboration with Blaze on Most Precious Love?
Kevin Hedge told me that he was inspired by the parties that I did at Winter Music Conference or even the Underground Network. He said, you're always bringing singers and artists together. That's my backbone. That's me. Unity in community. And so he said, we came up with this idea of United Artists for the fighting of AIDS. We came together, dance, house dance artists. And so he got together with Mel Sharon. Actually, the proceeds went to Mel Sharon, and it went and they hit their mark. This was so amazing. And then he wrote a song, one song for me, but he said this is not Barbara Tucker. He said he was in Japan with Hisa and Josh, and he was in the back, like outside backside of the club, and he started writing this song, Precious Love. I think he tapped into my spirit. I say that because for someone to say this first song we wrote, that was not her. That's now this. So them to go in their head to think, what would she do? How is she? She's always talking about God. She's talking about unity. She's always talking about these positive things. And I felt that was really beautiful, that he can really think of me, get inside of me to create that, henceforth precious love. Many people didn't hear the down tempo of that song, and it did, and it's still, I mean, what's this, 2025 now, and it's still, when I perform that, they're like all in it. The community, they love that track.
Let's talk about Ibiza. You've had a residency in Ibiza for many years. What is
Since
the island?
2001.
What does Ibiza mean to you, and what keeps drawing you back?
It's my second home. It really is. I'm a part of the community there. Again, when you show up right in other countries, people will embrace you. You show up as love. They know how I feel about the Most High. I love God. And so henceforth, I'm able to love everybody. I love the land. I love the sea that's there. I love the freedom.
How do you feel house music has impacted global culture?
It definitely has impacted, house music has definitely impacted global culture. Italy, for an example, they love it. They're moved by it. Japan, they are moved by it, that you can even see tears sometimes. It touches their soul. And depending on who is singing it or the instruments that are in the song, and it drops down, and you can feel the synergy of this music that electrifies their soul. They feel that. Um, it's a shame, like, even though we're from New York and we have little small venues or this or that place, it's not as big, even if it started in a Chicago and a Detroit and New Jersey or New York. It's not as big as it is overseas. People get sponsorship, they get support bigger over there than you do in your own hometown.
What was your reaction, and how did you feel when you heard Kanye sample Deep Inside?
I was like, wow. But I wasn't surprised because he's from Chicago, right? And that's house music. So even if he's doing rap and doing what he feels he creatively does best, it's not like house never passed his ear. And I'm sure he knows everybody. I'm sure he knows them all. So I thought that was beautiful. I love the video because, of course, being a dancer, I'm like, she's working. Miss Tatiana is doing that, and how he put not one track but both tracks. So it was wonderful to be noted for that. He could have chosen anything, but he chose two. I Get Lifted and Deep Inside. I was humbled by that.
So you've been both a recording artist and a live performer. Um, which performance changed the trajectory of your career?
I'm not even sure about that because it just seems like once 1985 hit, as me as an artist, it just kept going and it didn't stop. You understand? I came out of musical theater. So my shows have always been 5, 6, 7, 8, and singing. I've always done that. And it just kept going and going and going. And the stages got bigger. Some of them were smaller. Some of them are bigger. I just showed up. I can't say what changed, what it is. But I do know when you are on TV and doing major situations like that, it can only bring major situations. Um, so the masses get to see it. Like I just came from England, London, and I was on this show, the Sunday brunch show, that was over 30 million, almost 40 million, probably more, that watched that Sunday show. It's a 3-hour Sunday brunch show. So I'm there with DJ Majestic from England singing our latest song, My Love, and that was impressive. Sometimes I don't realize what I just did because I show up. You understand because they're just saying, oh, you have a show here, you're doing this, and I show up doing this, and then somebody's saying, wow, do you know how many people that was watching that show? Because I don't do my homework in that way. I show up to do what I'm going to do. They take care of the business. I don't have to worry about these other things, and I show up giving my all. So I don't think I answered that question. Well, I answered it as honest and real as I could, meaning again, once 85 hit, I just kept going. I just kept going. So I can't tell what is the biggest or not, but one show that really impacted me, it just hit me. I was able to do Lady Bunny's Wigstock, the documentary, right? Oh my goodness. And Patrick from How I Met Your Mother was hosting it. It's for HBO, right? And so I called my peeps in. I said, look, we there's no money involved, but come on, this is our opportunity. Who's down with me? So I had my 3 singers, Mitch Matlock, Charlotte Small, Aaron K. Gray. He was with us on that gig. And I had, let me see, maybe 8 dancers with me. We carried on. Look, we only got 4 minutes, but we're going to carry on. And it represented the house music, the dancers of the house music, because we had some choreography and some freestyle. And that was powerful for us because we were outside and, just being amongst all because it was Wigstock, being among all the drag queens and the beautiful costumes and stuff, that I was like a little girl in a candy store because I love costumes and I love imaginative people, meaning what are you showing up with as today? And just the interviews, we had a ball. That had an impact. I like stuff like that. Fun stuff. Oh, we get ready to have fun.
Let's talk about the Underground Network.
Yes.
The Underground Network was more than a party. It was
Yes.
it was a movement.
Yes.
For those that don't know, tell us the Underground Network story. How'd you come up with the name? How'd you meet Don Welsh? How'd you connect with Louis Vega? Tell us, paint the picture of the Underground Network from like day zero.
Coming from Brooklyn and someone who always sung or danced or was always a part of a stage in one way or the other, doing parties, and one time even doing a party. I was a promoter before as well while I wore a promoter's hat. And I remember doing a party with my soul sisters, Thea McQueen and Sabrina Armstrong, and people were knowing me from doing these type of situations and knowing singers, but I also knew dancers. One day, Don Welch was with a Willie Wall and another young lady, Ama, and they wanted to bring me in. They did the first Underground Network themselves, but someone mentioned me. There's this girl, Barbara Tucker. She's a promoter. Let's bring her in. So I was brought into the party. The other 2 faded out, however that happened. And so it was just me and Don Welch. I knew of Don Welch because he was the DJ at Club Sauvage, which later became Club Elite. And then we started moving and working together. He was also a Billboard reporter, and this is about 1992. He knew Louis Vega, and Louis used to come down to his spot, which was again in the end elite, to hear him play as he was a Billboard reporter, and they had, I guess, that conversation or what have you. And he wanted to do a Wednesday night. This is how dawned in his mind. This is all him, his concept, that there should be a night specifically for house music, for the labels, for the artists, for new music, and so on and so forth. So I remember we started the party, and we were doing our thing on a Wednesday night, and we, for Club Elite, it was called Dress Down Wednesday, like Dress Down Wednesday, because that was a club that very R&B influenced, but they played everything, even though a lot of these patrons came out of the Paradise Garage, you know. So then one day I was coming in to the party because we were alternating DJs every week. David Morales, Camacho, Frankie Knuckles, DJ Paradise, and again, Louis Vega. Don knew I knew David Morales very well again, and Camacho, because David Morales played at the Ozone Layer, and I used to support his night every Friday night. But then I was coming in from the party one night from doing a video with Mass Order. Lift every voice and sing. I'm coming into my own party and it's ending while my worker, Shanawa, one of my staffers, was leading Louis Vega out the club. He played that night and she was escorting him to his car. And she says, "Oh, Louis, that's my other boss. That's Barbara Tucker. Barbara, this is Louis Vega." And she said, "And she sings too." He's like, "Oh, wow. Oh, it's good. That's nice. You sing too." So, and then Dawn says, "Okay, Barbara, we're not going to be at this venue anymore." And Frankie Knuckles said that the new club, Sound Factory Bar, just opened up and they have a Wednesday available. So we had a meeting with Jeffrey Rodman to go over there, and henceforth we moved to the Sound Factory Bar. Now, also, we were saying, well, let's get a resident. Let's don't keep alternating anymore, and let's see who we can get. So he asked all the DJs, but then Louis Vega said yes to us, and I thank God for that, because the combination of us three, him being in industry, Don being in industry, Billboard reporter doing his thing, me being in the industry, knowing singers and dancers as well, it brought a good combination. Our party was different, I want to say, because it was more family. We brought dancers. There were always dancers on the speakers, and they were not like stripper dancers. They were dancers. So they were carrying on. We even did a dance contest at our party, and dancers from all over would come. And it was going on for like 3 weeks, this dance contest. And then Shades, which was Keith Williams, Randy Connor, and Omar, they won and they tore the house down. So they won the money, and they won always free entry to our party. And they even danced for the best things in life for free, Janet Jackson. They also had their own solo movement in that video. So our party was really growing, and the Underground Network again was created for house. It was created because there was no party. There were parties, but there was no party that supported house labels, house artists, the movement. I can look back at the club now. By the bar, you have the industry hanging out by the bar. You have the dancers either downstairs or upstairs, but we confined the circle dancing downstairs. You could do anything you want downstairs. That's the Funk Hut. And in the Funk Hut, you couldn't play house. You could only play funk, classic, and soul music, because Louis was playing house upstairs. We had beautiful people that came, all kind of people that came on. Every week there was an artist there or a label party there that showcased their new music. And I just can recall many of the label managers, the A&Rs coming up and giving Louis new music and stuff. And we don't have that to this day. And I'm almost in tears because how are we to move on where there's not a connected spot? And I think 12 inches should come back. Why not? Because I like when they come and they put that thing on and, you get to see the record, the artist can sign, the producer can sign, it's such a disconnect right now. But the Underground Network, again, started in 92. We were no longer at the location, the Sound Factory, because the two partners split up. Phil and Jeffrey split up. So we were lost. We were trying to find a home. Some clubs were too big, some places were too small. We were not saying we weren't coming back, but it got to be the right fit. It really has to be the right fit. It can't be too big because the shoe flops off of you. It can't be too tight because it hurts. The shoe is too tight. So then next thing we know, right when we're finding someplace, Louis and Kevin Hedge did something, and we didn't want to interrupt that. And they did it on a Wednesday night. So what were we supposed to do? Hey, that's our resident DJ for all these years, and we're a family, and you came, and now you guys are doing that. Give us our DJ back. What are you gonna do? Give us our night back. No, so we just decided to just do specialty parties, anniversary parties. But right now, Donna is so in the lead taking on this Underground Network coffee table book. You remember CBGB's had a coffee table book? We have a book coming out. It's like about 400 pages. It's so much. And sometimes people are saying, oh, when you guys gonna bring it out? Look, we gotta identify people. There's a lot. We took a lot of footage. David Cole, his last time singing was at our party. He was singing in the dark, playing a piano, and people didn't know that was him. And then the lights came on. We had such special moments on holidays. We would make turkey. Look, I made a turkey, Jeff made a turkey, and we were feeding the people and having a lot of love. On spiritual days, like it's Easter, that holiday, we bought in a keyboardist and brought a choir in, and we're singing Christmas songs. Who does that at a house party? Singing songs of love, inspiring, encouraging people, dance contests, fashion shows. I remember the last new music seminar, we did a tribute to Chicago. And all of them, Chicago, that's when I met Terry Hunter, Dajay was there, Georgie Porgy was there, all of Chicago, because it's just beautiful. We just all have beautiful moments. And unfortunately, right now, you don't see that. You might see parties, but because they don't support the community, the fullness of the community, because you can have dance troupes up there. You'll see in the book. You have dance troupes up there, singers up there. You have this or that, or contests or whatever, things that make up the dance community. So I think that's why it kind of fades a little bit, because there's really no support. But I love the Underground Network. Oh, we did tours too. We would go to Canada every week. After the party, we'd get on a Amtrak train and go to Canada. They paid for some of us and take one artist and myself hosting or playing around with Deep Inside, what have you. And then it would be an Underground Network party. We did an Underground Network party to Japan. That was fun. Me, Willie Ninja, Joy Caldwell, Michael Watford, we had a ball with Don Welch and Tatsuki and Tatsuki Hideshima. I hope I said that right. His name is Tatsuki. We know that much. And of course, we had DJ, what's his name? Gomi. Gomi went with us as well. So we did more than just here's a DJ on the turntable and the people putting powder on the floor. Yes, I said that. We were house community.
Period. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Um, your vocal workshops have helped many singers. What motivated you to start teaching?
Well, let's have some correction here. It was and let the singer be heard. What that is about is all of what I'm always talking about. You have a DJ, where's the singer? They got something to say too. Let them sing or let them speak. Henceforth, I've done about 30 events at the Winter Music Conference, where we would meet earlier before our party, have conversation about how we can move forward, help each other, what we need to do to make sure we're taking this business serious, even though you're singing. You can't just forget the business of it. And then I would do panels also at the Winter Music Conference as well. So that's how I know a lot of singers. We bring in some of the veterans, like you could bring in a Ron Carroll or an Ultra Detae and sitting in front of the group, and we're talking about music and what we did, how we did it, and what's important, the team that's important for you. So just always a platform to touch, move, and encourage, inspire, and awaken, more than a song out of the vocalist.
Got it. Got it. Thank you for that clarification. Um, you've performed globally for decades. Which city or venue has the most special place in your heart and why?
Oh my goodness. I love Children of the 80s and Blue Marlin in Ibiza. I like that because I get to, I'm always having fun. So I'm getting ready to say I get to have fun. I'm always having fun. I like Glitterbox because it's always animation there, with the dancers and the choreography and the stylists behind the scenes giving the girls the big wigs. And one day I said, look, I want a big wig too. So they they dress me with the big wig and stuff. So again, fun is that one is more theater for me. So I like that. I really enjoy that. And people singing your songs. It's a different, I think every artist should experience Glitter Box, the party. It's really so much fun. So much fun. So I'm sorry I can't just give you one. I really could go on, but that's like saying, who's your favorite singer? Really? Different singers are your favorite in that moment for different situations.
Thank you for that. House music. What would you consider your biggest success and your biggest regret? And if you were to do anything differently, what would it be?
I'll start with the regret. Um, because I was so young and just having, quote, fun, didn't have a teacher in this thing called music. So I didn't have my business together. We're all going to go through that one situation. It could be two, because maybe you still didn't learn your lesson. That I was not well educated on the business side of the music. Henceforth, get ready for the mentorship program. Now, um, so I don't want to say regretting, but I'd rather say the lesson that I had to learn, because we're all going to have a lesson to learn when we come in. So make sure you have your team, that works for you. Um, Now give me the other two because my mind is on what I just said. The
Sure.
other.
And the other two were your biggest success and your biggest regret.
Okay, so the regret came around. I didn't take it as a regret. I said it. I turned it into a lesson that had to be learned. Um, but then the big. Oh my goodness, Dan and Dean. Oh my God, there's so many moments. I don't know if you've ever heard the designer Dan and Dean out of Italy. Okay, you can always research them. I did their birthday party on an island um, outside of Naples or across the ocean from in Naples, someplace. That was powerful. It was powerful doing also a birthday party for, was that yeah, Dolce and Gabbana, a birthday party, a disco party. We did a disco party. So I've had opportunities. Another great global opportunity is being the lead singer, the upfront singer for the king of disco, which was Mark Cerrone. And just him and just doing his 30, when he did 35 years in music, it was a celebration. Or was that, it could have been 50 years. It seems like it was a while. I hope I'm not getting it confused of my time back then, but that was powerful for me. All those people, so many awesome opportunities, not just as a singer, but even if I'm performing with Delight and then all of a sudden we're there with George Clinton and Funkadelic doing recording session, doing things with Pet Shop Boys. Look, the Pet Shop Boys recording two songs for them, doing my thing, and even what's the group that does Sweet Dreams Are Made of This?
Eurythmic.
Eurythmics, doing a video and recording with them. So because of one situation, I was able to do other situations. And I'm grateful for every opportunity, every linking, every network that the Most High put in my pathway. And it's interesting. Had I not, who's to say what would have happened had I not gone to that party that night and pretty much closed the David Bareilles party, and the guy singing me, asking me to become a part of the group Promotional Strafe, right, in 84, then 85, the girls doing it in New Year's Eve, performing at the Fun House, and guess who was the DJ?
Jelly Bean.
Louis.
Louis Vega.
Yes. So my thing about that, we were in the same space and didn't see each other until years later and officially meet then. You see how things connect, because they could have been destined to be. Had I not been in that space at that club, just carrying on, dancing, doing turns and splits on the floor and whatever, somebody would not have seen me, and that would not have been the beginning that hadn't stopped since. It hasn't stopped since. I'm still here.
Many house music singers and artists have come and gone. You've remained relevant. What's been the secret to your success?
Loyalty to house music, loyalty to the movement, loyalty to the assignment from the Most High of singing house, of traveling globally. Sometimes I've been on the backside praying for people that come up to me, holding them, embracing them, and giving. House music is, again, a ministry for me. Sometimes people say, would you have done anything different, or do you still look at it the same? The thing that has changed is when I first started off, it was about 5, 6, 7, 8, and dancing and singing. As transformation started taking place in my soul, I started looking at it as a ministry, sing songs, grab people's hand and minister the songs to them, have them sing the song with me, do affirmations, loving on one another. So it transformed into a ministry.
Wow. I love that. Um, who inspires you musically?
Interesting again, when I'm at home, I don't listen to music unless I'm cleaning, and then I'll put spiritual music on. In the morning, I listen to all my spiritual teachings or prayers. When I'm cleaning, I'll put on some worship music from William McDowell. I love to hear him, and Tasha and Leandria. I love those three at the moment. inspiration could come from lettucey. I don't really listen to house music at home because it's fast. And I like to savor music, the voices, the lyrics, and if I get in that mood for listening to music, but I like to hear Leandria deliver me because first, before I am music, I'm spirit. Um, wow. And so I want to give the Most High time and not me just, oh, I'm house music 24 hours a day and all I'm doing is playing house music. No, I give time to the Creator.
Part two of that question, who would you like to collaborate with that you haven't collaborated with yet?
I like to collaborate with a 100 Bird Orchestra. They're amazing. I want something bigger than just me doing a house track. I want to do house with an orchestra, something big like that. And how could we together, um, you know, somebody who has a lot of energy, Georgie Porgy. Oh, Dwayne Harding, I could do another track with him. He would have the energy matching mine. I want to say Dwayne Harding. You don't even know me. You said that I'm not living right. Have you ever seen him perform?
Yes.
Okay.
Who matches your energy 100%?
Yes, yes. So that's what I'm saying. They can't just sing with me because I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna twirl, I might even do a drop and a spin, but they got so the energy, you want that fullness of that. Could be really nice.
Let's go back and talk about New York City. How was New York City instrumental for your career in music in the music industry?
At that pivotal point in my career, there could at least be 6 clubs open on a night in New York. So I remember one New Year's Eve, I did 2 clubs in New York and 2 clubs in Jersey. So the clubs are where we get our support from. The DJs, if they're not playing our stuff and they're playing all one sound, then we're not working. So New York was important. They had the clubs, they had the outdoor situations, the park events were happening there. They got a lot of flavor. That's one thing I love about New York. When you have the outdoor parties, you see all the beauty of the blacks coming out in their Afro eccentric outfits, their glasses, and feeling very fabulous creatively with their clothing, their attire, as well as their music. But I have a lot of influence of that part from New York in me, of the flavor. New York, we got flavor.
And then how has New York City changed from that era to today?
Child, I'm sure it started somewhere behind doors politically, closing of the clubs. I remember at one point Tony Toon, he was trying to have a a an awareness for the clubs because he said in the back doors they're trying to close the club. That's when you had, oh shucks, the what's the club that was on the avenue that it was an old train depot, and it's all.
Cielo? Cielo?
No, 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 no. It was a train. It was a train depot where they used to
Oh, the
bring
tunnel, the tunnel.
the tunnel. So I remember this is right before the tunnel closed, and he was letting us know that they're trying to close all of these clubs, and he was trying to have this meeting. And I remember we did a party to raise money to do awareness and what have you, and people did not show up. And I said, but then they complain about our clubs are closing because you're not there. He told you to come. He told you this is happening behind the doors because he's political, right? He's into politics, and so next thing the tunnel closed. Next thing this club closed. Next thing where they used to do I forgot the club where Dave DePino used to do his big party.
Right.
Tracks closed. Next thing, these clubs are closed. So there you have no support. There you have no community. Then you have smaller venues, or you have venues now that charge you an arm and a leg to rent it out. So if the community doesn't show up, then we can't pay for the venues, right? And the clubs will not want to bring you back because the numbers are not there. So, the seasons have changed. The consistency um is not like it was, and the parties that are few. I remember when we could club hop.
That was
Yeah,
the golden era. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
golden, we were club hopping. Yeah, I'm going to the red zone first. Okay, I'll meet you over at such and such. There was some for all of us, really. I tell you.
Looking back at your journey, what's a story about the house music community that needs to be told more widely?
More what, Lee?
More widely.
Um, It's interesting. Some people go to parties just to dance, just to party. When they leave that venue, that party, that it's not a conversation. But then you have the other side, the producer, DJ, the singer, even the dancers, those of us who make our money through the club scenes. So it comes down to the quality. So what is it that are we a promoter who just promotes a party but doesn't support the community of house music? So it's just your party. And maybe somebody might say, yeah, but nobody was there to sing or whatever. Well, get creative. Mix the artist's track into your set. They come out, sing their song, and people are like, oh, such and such is on stage, and they exit. See you later. Support house music. Look, support house music because it's a community. It's just house music is just not a DJ and a dance floor. It never was. It didn't start that way. We need to support the community of house, the culture of house, really.
Do you ever
Look,
do you ever
look, it's just not your house, it's our house.
Amen. Do you ever plan on retiring?
I didn't think of that because again, I live in the moment and I just want to add on to it, to everything I do. I can't see myself not singing because I always have a song. I always have there's so much writing in me, so many songs in me, but I need to expand and with some plans. And again, there's who's behind me. Oh, nobody's there. No, I'm going to mold. I need to come on, take my hand into the house culture and let me show you how to do this thing. So even if I'm not on the stage, somebody that I'm connecting to, we're going to transfer them and make sure they're on the stage. We got to keep it going.
Who do you mentor today?
I'm working with a group called the Mix Masters. That's a company in Ibiza. They are 5 years old, and this is now 2025, so they're probably going on 26. What they do, they find every session they find four master producers. I have my segment this year, the singer-songwriters, where I'll be doing the same thing, and I'll bring in maybe a three-man team that write or help their voices at the same time to create songs. And then at the end of our session, like the end of their session, that student, we'll call them the student, will have to present what they've created through the lesson to this master ear A&R person. And what I'm going to do at the end is have these singers not just write the song, but I want them to sing the song. So I'm going to bring in a vocal coach to help them sing the song and do some great things with this. I can't wait for that. So I do mentor artists. I tell people I don't teach you how to sing. You should, by the time you get to me, you should already know how to sing. So what I do, I help you with your staging, your performance, your writing, and I help you to know your business, the business of music, all the things that I didn't learn then now I know I want to make sure you have all this ammunition. So when you're going out there saying, I am an artist, that you have all your goodies in your bag of your team, your knowing how to do contracts, understanding the business and so forth, and showing up professional.
That is so needed. Okay. I'm going to ask you a very controversial question. I hope you'll answer it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite DJ?
That's not that's not a controversial, and that's like you asking me who's the singer that I'm inspired by. For me to say one person can solidify every feeling in me as a DJ, that's not how it goes. Sometimes you don't know a person's your favorite until you get to the party and you're losing your mind, right? But I have so many, obviously, Louis Vega, especially in the days that he was working with the Underground Network, point, always on point. I love when Tony Humphries gets in a certain mode. I love to hear David Morales. I remember we were in Ibiza, it was on a rooftop, and he was just throwing down. I had to start breaking down with my moves. DJ Spin, come on now. There were different DJs for you have your, because I'm global. So I hear DJs that's giving me this energy that's, oh yeah, that the soulful DJs will not do. They might just be in the groove, in the cut. We're doing classics, we're doing moves right here. And it's cool because you're remembering the good times while you're dancing. But then you have those DJs who the music, they're turning it, the synergy of what they're doing. You can have a Moose T doing this. You can have a DJ Melville from the Glitterbox situation. Then there's a guy, Sam Carlson from Paris, and he, between his energy of his body and then the what he's playing, you're like, ah, shoot, he's turning this. So for me to say there's one, my favorite, I appreciate so many music programmer DJs on so many different levels. So I couldn't pick one. It wouldn't be fair to me to pick one. What? I can only have one lollipop. What? But I like the grape one too, and the red. Did you taste the new pink that came? You know, that's, look, what kind of question is that?
Well, thank you for
My DJ, DJ Q. Oh my goodness, he turns it. He turns it because I also like, what do you call that? Jack and House. And a lot of those DJs don't do Jack and House. But when he does, I like Jack and House as well as Tech House. Oh boy, sometimes Todd Terry, he's in a whole nother world with that Tech House, you know, mixed with those tribal beats. See, because I have a global ear, I can appreciate it all. So that's another thing.
I love that. You mentioned you have a program coming out later on this year. Talk to us about that.
Okay, I'm going to give you more information on it. I think the date is May 5th, and we're going to be at, is my light blinking? Something just was weird. I'm going to take you with me while I turn this off. We're going to go over to the Brooklyn Library, and I'm putting together a panel of artists as well as introducing my book that I'll be doing for the artists. And then, of course, we'll be at the Winter Music Conference doing And Let the Singer Be Heard. That's March 26th, 7th, and 8th. I'm excited about that moment that we're going to be doing. So we should stay in contact because we're working on all these things right now, and I'm just mentioning it now so we don't forget it. And then you can always follow up with me as it's coming through.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Barbara. I appreciate your time.
Fun.
This was fun, a fantastic interview. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful
To
weekend.
you as well.
All
God
right, take
bless
care.
you. Peace
You
and
too.
love.
Thank
Okay.
you. Good night.